What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Jeandre Gerber on the very first episode of A Road to Artistry, or The Road to Artistry. We don't know yet. That title's still in the working, but it's either an A or the. We don't know yet. We'll figure that one out together. Anyway, welcome. Welcome to the first ever podcast episode called The Road to Artistry. I think we'll keep it at The Road. Let's just do that. How you guys doing? I'm doing this kind of early, somewhere in the middle of the Pacific. It's hot. You probably hear chickens and some noise because the entire town is starting to wake up. But this is me currently on my path, on my road to artistry. And I was speaking to my brother the other day, and he asked me, why would people want to listen to this podcast? And that's a good question. I mean, I'm not super famous, I don't have millions of followers, I don't have any of those type of things, but I do have some experience, and I have been an artist for over 20 years now, and dedicated my life to artistry. I've been around, let's say, I'm not a newcomer, and I believe that I took a 7-year break from art. And in those 7 years, I learned some skills that I do believe can be valuable for people who want to dedicate their life to their art. I think, and what is it? What does that mean? What does it mean to be an artist? Does it mean that you have to be this ethereal being that runs around and is really not connected with this plane? I don't think so. A lot of artists is like, everything's about the art. Everything. It doesn't matter if I sell it. Don't put value on my art. And I think that's the wrong approach to being an artist. I think one thing that we lack as artists is the ability to monetize our art. I wrote a blog, and that's something that I'm going to be trying to do every time, is create a corollary blog piece that would go with this. It might not be the exact same content, but I'm trying to do this at least for now once a week, but eventually I'm going to see if I can move it up to twice, 3 times, 4 times. It depends on how this goes, This is a creative outlet for me as well, and it helps me place my ideas on a realistic plane so I know what I'm achieving and I know where I'm going towards, and I think that's something that all artists can benefit from. So the reason why you should listen to this and why you should follow and why you should sign up and, do all those things, excuse me, is because within the abundance of creativity, when a bunch of artists gets together and they start sharing ideas, powerful things happen. And if you don't believe me, you can just look at the Renaissance. The Renaissance essentially, something that changed the fabric of our society, that changed the way we viewed authority, that changed the way that we viewed religion. It came through a bunch of artists that came together, and they influenced each other, and they influenced their art, and I think that that's something that this world needs now, especially as artists, because if you come to think about it, art is the bastard child of things that people want to do. It's the last thing. It's like, I love painting, but I gotta pay my bills, I've gotta do all these other things first, and then art comes last. So it's the black sheep of the talent pool family, and people usually they're supportive of artists, but they're it's sort of a flaky deal. They're like, he's an artist, but does he make it? Does he have good cars? And for most artists, that's where the starving artist concept comes from, is that they don't know how to monetize themselves, they don't know how to market themselves correctly. And fortunately, through my time off as an artist, those are precisely the skills that I learned. And I aim to provide other artists with at least a base on how to establish that, on how to create forward momentum with their art and achievable goals, and how to scale it up effectively. Now, this podcast is not meant for people who's fame seekers, who wants to be living the rock star lifestyle. Those guys could go fuck himself. I don't think that's what art's about. I think fame, or at least recognition, comes through the work, not the other way around. Modern day artists and the modern day artists in the entertainment industry, they essentially fabricate artists, and it's not about whether they're good or not. It's about how much time they spend on drilling the artist into your head, especially when it comes to music. You know, in the music industry, and that's what I'm primarily. I'm a writer and I'm a musician. But I also do other stuff. I draw and I do things like that. I like to dabble in all arts. But I would, if I were to choose two things that I believe is like my core artistic talents, it would be music and writing, and primarily writing. Nonetheless, within the music industry, what happens in the modern day music industry is that it doesn't matter whether the artist is good or not. Usually there's about 14 different producers working on one song, and then it takes about $3 million to make that artist recognized, you know. And the way they do that is that they play it on the radio. Wherever you go, you'll hear their song. You know, you'll hear it in movies, you'll hear it on the TV, you'll hear it on the radio over and over and over again. And after a couple of weeks, whether you like the song or not, it's stuck in your head, and the person becomes known, and they elevate their status, and it's all about just selling albums and merchandising, because the artist there is the product, not their art, the artist itself. And that's, I guess we are the product of our art, and us, we go hand in hand, but it's not real, it's fabricated. Back in the day, you had to build your own audience, and then record labels would be like, I'm taking a gamble on you. And by the way, if you are a musician and you're thinking about getting a record label, please don't. The future is not there. That's the old way of attaining your dreams and your goals, and I'm going to explain to you throughout this session, not this particular episode, but throughout the podcast, why you can do it yourself. Point being, artists have a tough time, real artists, because we don't have backing. We don't have people that can support us with millions of dollars, and we have to maintain 2 jobs and keep the bills and food on the table. So our art usually gets sacrificed first. It's usually the thing that we're like, okay, you know what, I've got so many things to do today. Tomorrow I'll paint, or tomorrow I'll do that. And that's okay. I mean, you have to have a balance in life as well. You can't just dedicate yourself to artistry without being smart about it. I mean, if you can't survive, if you can't provide for yourself, how the hell are you going to be able to promote your art and get it out there? So, in terms of the why I believe that I'm actually creating value for people, it's because, number one, I will recount the experiences that I've had over the past 20 years in terms of art. I will introduce concepts, especially within the digital realm, about how you can use modern day tools to create a platform and find your audience, considering that there's 4 billion people on the internet. That it's quite possible. And as I mentioned, it's not about people who's fame seekers. This is about creating a sustainable art life. If you can live life, and this is the question that I asked my wife the other day, I said, if you could dedicate yourself entirely to art and have that sustain you, and you have a choice of any other career, what would you choose? And she told me, well, I'd love to paint. She's an awesome painter. So, and I think that's true for all artists, for all true artists. If I could do what I love to do, and that can sustain it, I can put food on the table, yeah, I'll do that. That's definitely what I'm going to be doing. So, this podcast is meant to have everybody that's listening to it, that participates, that comments, that sends me questions and so forth, that we can work together to create a solid strategy on how you can take your art from being not known to actually being something that people want to buy, and something that can sustain you as a human being. And I believe, what does that entail? Is that just music? Is that just poetry? Is that just paintings? No, I think it's really anything that is outside of the mold I do believe that artists are a different breed, but at the same time, there's a lot of passions in life, There's a lot of hobbies and things like that. And some people, they hate their jobs. They don't want to do their 9 to 5s, but they're too scared to let go of that comfort to pursue something that they actually love. And I think the art of life is to do something that you love. Chasing money will never bring you happiness, but doing something that you were born to do, something that is innate within your soul, something that is so ingrained into your spirit that you can't not do it, as is the case with me. I took a 7-year break from artistry, and I got super depressed, man. I got so depressed. I still wrote music, I still wrote some things here and there, but I wasn't really working on it until about last November, when I restarted up and I reconnected with that part of me, and it just woke up this new beast, this old beast that was sleeping within my heart. So, the pathway sometimes takes you on a detour. Sometimes that detour is necessary to teach you the tools to take your art to the next level, and I feel currently that is where I'm at. And I also think it's a good moment to document it, my own progression, and show people that it is possible to dedicate yourself to a life of art and passion, whatever that may be. If you like the Smurfs and you want to dedicate your life to the Smurfs, this podcast can help you. I'll show you guys how to create digital presences. I'll show you guys how to leverage digital tools, and how to integrate it with a physical routine that will allow your art to be moving every day a little bit forward. And there's one thing that I don't usually live by it. You learn a lot of things on the road, but you don't usually apply it, but it does make sense and it's very wise. And I'll just tell this out there for the people that's listening to this right now, that irrespective of what your goal is, if every day you can achieve 1% towards your goal, at the end of a year, you'd be 52% closer to your goal. So technically anything can be achieved within a 2-year span, probably sooner. And just think about that. If every day you just advance 1%, by the end of the year, you're halfway there. So this isn't a race. This is a marathon. This is something that we're just going to be doing every day. I mean, you're an artist. You cannot deny yourself to do that. You have your entire life to do that. So why don't you just start doing it now? Now, in my case, I have family to take care of. I have things, so I can't just be, fuck everything. I'm just gonna go be an artist. I have responsibilities as an adult. So you have to be smart about it. You have to find a balance. And hopefully this will give you the strategy. It'll give you the insight. It'll give you the tools to be able to create that balance and slowly transition from your current state of being into a life of artistry. And that is the purpose of why we are here. That's the purpose of why I'm doing this. Additionally, I think we can all benefit. I believe this world needs a new renaissance. I believe that we need to have artists from all walks of life start rising up. And right now, if you really come to think about it, it's the best time to be an artist. The reason being is that the robots are coming. Yes, I said that. The robots are coming. What does that mean? It means automation is coming. It means that the need for humans to do menial tasks are evaporating. Soon you'll have an app that's going to be your secretary. Soon you're going to have robots serving the fast food. Soon you're going to have all of these automated machines taking over these trivial tasks that humans have always been spending, this physical labor. And the one thing that the machines can't take over is human creativity. They can't create. They can only put together information that's already there. I guess humans too. I mean, we don't really ever create anything new. We just reconfigure things that we see, sounds, colors, lines, to create a unique perspective of something. So nothing's new, but there's still, perhaps machines one day would reach that point of human creativity, but it's still going to be a long time. So right now, the one thing that is safe from automation is being an artist. And in fact, automation benefits artists. And we'll talk about that. If you guys want to one day, just tell me, hey, Jeandre, you guys can follow me on Instagram, on Facebook, and all these things. It's just at Jeandre Gerber. That's Instagram and Twitter. And my Facebook is Jeandre Gerber Trip. So either or you guys can just search me on Google. Because while I might not be the most famous artist, I am the world's most famous Jeandre Gerber. Yep. Chew on that for a while. Achievements, I own 3 pages of Google, so you can Google me. That's fine. Point being, we can get together, we can work. I'll show you guys how automation. You guys send me your questions, and I'd love to just get involved. And every time I'm gonna try to do this at least once a week right now, and perhaps maybe more, depending on how the response goes. But I believe that if we were to work together and pull our resources together and focus our vision, and everybody works in unison, we have accountability from other artists. I have a group in Facebook called Road to Artistry. You guys can join that as well, and we can start with a discussion. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a real big fan of social media. Oh, that's my wonderful dog that's barking down below. Anyway, I'm just going to wrap it up here quickly for you guys. Join me, follow me, get on to the social media things. Let's start talking. Let's start creating a dialogue. And if you guys like it, we can start focusing certain themes towards certain topics. We can work towards creating a dynamic where I'm providing you guys with the tools, you guys are pointing me out to other tools, and I've got a ton of them. So this is just the first episode. Hopefully before the end of the week I can do another one, but if not, next week I will do it. And I think every Tuesday and probably Saturdays or Sundays I'll have a new episode out, but I'll keep you guys going on. So welcome to the Road to Artistry. Welcome to pursuing the life of an artist. I believe that you guys are doing the right move, so thanks. And if you did stick here and you did listen to all this, drop a comment below. Let me know what's up. Let me know if you like the format. Let me, give me some feedback, and I'd love to get in touch with you guys. So once more, this is Jeandre Gerber, and this was the Road to Artistry episode 1, the original first one. So thank you for being with us. And keep on creating, folks. You guys have a good one. Here's a little tune of my own to guide you guys out. Peace out.